I'm having a terrible day. I'm warning you now because I'm having a terrible day. And I've been having a terrible week. See, my most recently born nephew is in the PICU. He was born on December 20th, and I got to hold him just after Christmas, and he's got RSV. And an uncle of mine whose son was killed in combat in Afghanistan had a house fire, and though he's safe, his house has lots of damage. And just this morning, my oldest uncle passed away. So I'm having a really bad day. And I didn't have a story until I was driving here and I was remembering the life of my uncle. So Joe, Marianne, Matt, Franny, Paul, Marguerite, Annie, Tony, Mike, Rita, Jean, Jim, Trish. Except for Annie, these are my aunts and uncles. My grandmother had 13 children over a period of about 26 years. My mother being smack dab in the middle with 3 older brothers and 3 older sisters and 3 younger brothers and 3 younger sisters and 7 years up there and 7 years down there. And so she is smack dab in the middle of a family who just lost their first sibling, my oldest uncle, my Uncle Joe. When I took my wife, my now wife, at the time she was my wife, up to meet my grandparents, I gave her a flip book. Because when you have Joe, Marianne, Matt, Franny, Paul, Marguerite, Annie, Tony, Mike, Rita, Jean, Jim, Trish, you have to bring them up to speed because it's not just them, it's their spouses. It's not just them and their spouses, it's their children. And I was like up in the upper third, but that doesn't mean there weren't 100 people in this family. And she's like going through and she's like, well, who belongs to who? And I'm like, I don't even know because they keep having children. And for Christ's sakes, Joe keeps marrying new women. By the way, when you meet Joe, he kisses with an open mouth. My Uncle Joe left home before his youngest sibling was born. He joined the Navy. He had these beautiful anchors on his hands that were tattooed there, as you would when you were born at that time and you were following in the dreams of what you wanted your father to do in a large Italian family. And then he married and he had children, and then he divorced, remarried, and had children, and then well, you get the story. But he was always so very kind to me. He was the type of uncle you wanted to hang out with because he smiled all the time. And he was the uncle because of his stature or because of his stature, was always seated closest to the bar and to the food at all the weddings. So that's where I put him at my wedding. And that's where he open mouth kissed my wife. My Uncle Joe was this fantastic man. He was kind of this Shylock, like you would have in an Italian family. He always had a scheme. He started a law practice without a law degree. And he sold these wills, and he would divorce people. He was incredible. And then he would marry people. And like he just had this incredible thing until he got kicked out of the state because he wasn't allowed to do that. He was the type of guy that you wanted to hang out with because he would smoke a cigar and he would say, "Ricky, I love ya." And you would just say, "Yeah, that's what love is. That's family. That is beauty." And every time that another person after my wife and I got married would get married, I would giggle in the corner and get the perfect seat so we could open mouth kiss them. And he would get on the dance floor and he would dance like crazy and he would sweat like a pig and he would laugh and he would take us all outside, and he was the new patriarch of the family when my grandfather passed, and he was this fantastically amazing man. He was the type of guy that you loved to hate and you hated to love, and no matter what, you wanted to be there with Uncle Joe. He was the grandest man of the family. He was huge and amazing, and he dressed like a gangster, like all black suits with a white tie and that little pocket square thing and a fedora freaking cap, because who's going to get away with that other than a dude that's the patriarch of a family whose youngest sibling was born after his oldest daughter? Seriously, like, she would be like, hey, how you doing, Auntie? I'm glad I'm at the birthday that happened after mine. You know, it was fantastic. So I was reflecting. Because I was coming here to Story Slam today, much like Diane did last year, because this is my refuge. This is my silver lining. This is my opportunity to share with you the grandest and most amazing Italian man that I've known in a long time, who would get off the plane onto a wheelchair because that would get him out of security faster. I'd be wheeled with that wheelchair into a room, and then when the buffet opened, stand up from the wheelchair and go get the food first in line. This is the man that he was. And frankly, you might say, wow, that guy was crazy, or that guy was weird, but that guy was my uncle. That guy was amazing. That guy was the embodiment of life. That guy was everything I can hope for as I grow older and do all the crazy crap that one might do. And my silver lining is being able to share him with you. Thank you.